Mary had a little lamb.
We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Overnight, Donald Trump speaking alongside Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Thank you, MAGA.
Despite his support for conspiracy theories around vaccines, Trump pledging to nominate him to oversee public health agencies, now including vaccines and women's health. The independent candidate dropped his presidential bid and endorsed Trump.
He can do anything he wants. He wants to look at the vaccines. He wants everything.
And he's going to work on health and women's health and all of the different reasons.
Kamala Harris firing back online, writing simply, no. Trump campaigning out west, doubling down on his harshest rhetoric alongside ousted Fox News host Tucker Carlson.
We do have an enemy from within. We have some very bad people, and those people are also very dangerous.
The former president even suggesting former House Republican leader Liz Cheney, who has endorsed Kamala Harris, be put in the line of fire.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington.
Cheney responding on social media this morning, writing, "This is how dictators destroy free nations. They threaten those who speak out against them with death. We cannot entrust our country and our freedom to a petty, vindictive, cruel, unstable man who wants to be a tyrant." Trump also once again spreading false claims about the 2020 election and the attack on the Capitol, now even baselessly claiming there's cheating happening in this race. The former president still trying to shake the controversy from his weekend rally, where a comedian made disparaging jokes comparing Puerto Rico to garbage. Trump making this pitch to Hispanics and Latinos in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a state he lost twice before, but says he can win this time.
So I'm here for one simple reason. I like you very much, and it's good for my credentials with the Hispanic or Latino community. I love the Hispanics.
With just days to go, the former president also announcing he will create a new cabinet position focused on reducing the cost of living. He didn't offer any details on how that would work or how it would fight inflation. But with Election Day just around the corner, Trump saying he won't run again and his rallies will end.
We've done this for 9 years, and it's sad. I never thought of it, actually. It'll never happen. It'll never happen again.
Yay! That's good news. It'll never, ever happen again. It's almost over. We have 4 days. Can you believe this is the way he's going to go out? Can you believe it? I mean, like, he has hooked his wagon to another 70-year-old, sex offender. He's going to let RFK go wild. He's going to let him go wild on our health care. He's going to let him go wild on... I don't know if you know this, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr., apparently he was fired from every job he ever had. Okay, so there's that. But Robert F. Kennedy Jr. literally was responsible for a measles outbreak in Samoa. I mean, you can't make this crap up. I mean, these are the elite of the world who run around, like, how many of us are going to go to Samoa? How many of us know where Samoa is? But he actually went there, and he starts, this crazy group of health care professionals, and he's in charge of it. What? Yeah, and he tells them, that vaccines for measles are bad. There's something wrong with them. They're bad. You shouldn't have. And so one of the guys, that was, a sycophant said, okay, I'm not going to have my kids 83 kids died. 83 kids died from preventable measles in Samoa. And now he wants to be in charge of all of our health. He wants to be in charge of the CDC, the National Institutes for Health, the NIH, the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. And Donald Trump is promising that he's going to let his 70-year-old sex addict friends, they're all sex addicts, and how they find each other, I'm guessing there's an app for that. I don't know. But they do. They all end up in the same freaking boat together. All of them covering for each other. I mean, you know what I found out today? I honestly did not even realize this, but you need to realize this. Gen Z, you know who they are, right? No, not personally. Yeah, me neither. But okay. So they're on TikTok getting their news from there. It's kind of like the guy that won't vote from yesterday. It's like him. So they're on TikTok getting their news. 39% of Gen Z, 39%, it's almost half of them, are getting their news from ByteDance, owned by China. They're getting their news from the algorithm generated by them, to feed news to our children, to our young ones. I mean, what could go wrong? Nothing, right? No, it's fine. It's perfectly okay. No one's talking about, regulating this. No, they're talking about vaccines and taking them off the market and letting us all die and repealing and replacing Obamacare with, nothing and saying, hey, listen, everybody, you can go right ahead and, die, but do it quickly. Thank you. But the Gen Z kids who are getting their news from TikTok, they did not ever hear. This is crazy, but I did the math and it's believable. Those kids never heard the Access Hollywood tape. They never heard it. They don't know about it. Because think about it. That thing was released in 2015. It happened in 2005. Okay, it was released in 2015. And they are just now 18. Some of them are 21. So what were they, 13 years old when that tape came out? When you were 13, try and remember, everybody. Were you obsessed with politics? No, you weren't unless you were Alex P. Keaton. And if you know who Alex P. Keaton is, you are not Gen Z, okay? Just saying. You're not Gen Z, okay? If you know who Night Ranger is, you're not Gen Z. Gen Z only knows two things. They know TikTok and they know Taylor Swift tickets are very, very expensive and they would like to live long enough to be able to afford to go or some such crap. But, I mean, it's just so amazing. So they never heard the tape. And now all of a sudden, somebody got really smart and hip to that idea, and they put it out on TikTok, okay? And then some of the influencers out there, people with like 68 million followers, decided that they would amplify the tape so that Gen Z could hear it for themselves and hear him saying, when you're a star, they let you do anything. I mean, I just start kissing them. I can't even stop. And so, you can grab them by the P word, right? When you're a star, they let you do it. I mean, this is the 11-second version.
Just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the do anything.
They never heard that. So I'm pretty sure they never saw the deposition either in the E. Jean Carroll case.
You say, and again, this has become very famous in this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the you can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
Oh, my God.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the
Well, if you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
What?
And you consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
They never heard that. I'm sure they never heard the deposition. They're just now hearing the Access Hollywood tape itself. They're just hearing him say you can grab them. Now, here's the thing about Gen Z. They are post-Me Too generation, okay? They have grown up listening to powerful men declare that they are, if they're female or if they're sexually attractive to the star, that they are, fair game, that it's open season on their bodies, that they could, you could just grab them. You can grab them anywhere. You could do whatever you want to them, right? And they're not, they're anti that. They're not for that, okay? And so this is the first time they've ever heard that the man who they might be voting for is, a sexual predator. So, I mean, how is that like possible? I don't know, but it is. So, and then on top of this, okay, on top of them just finding out that he is a sexual predator, that, he brags about grabbing women and then denying that he ever knew them, or grabs women on an airplane under their dress and then says she would not be the chosen one. What? Yeah, and that now that they know it, they're kind of repulsed by him. Well, good. Good.
A things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Yes.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
Dear young people,
don't vote.
Don't vote.
Everything's fine the way it is.
Trump. That was us.
He's our guy.
Tax cuts for the rich? Hell yeah. I'm rich as
Climate change? That's a you problem. I'll be dead soon.
Sure, school shootings are sad.
But I haven't been in a school for 50 years.
I can't keep track of which lives matter.
Sure you don't like it.
So, you'll like some meme on Instagram.
If the weather is nice, maybe you could go to one of those little marches.
You might even share this video on Facebook.
But you won't vote.
You young people never do.
But I do.
I do.
I do.
Midterms, primaries.
Every single election.
We'll be there, but you won't.
Because we're a generation of doers.
Not whiners.
And we're doing great.
I know nothing.
That was the best ad ever. That was from 2018, by the way. It's like we're always going to be here. We're always going to be at this point where you know who votes and you know who you have to try to talk into voting, because they're going to have to live with whatever disaster occurs under a bad presidency for the rest of their freaking lives. I mean, today, this is really sad. Today, another girl died, another preventable death. Okay, from a pregnancy that was not viable. It was a miscarriage, and today would have been it was Texas. She died after going to 3 separate hospitals. 3 times she went to the hospital. It's like converting to Judaism. You do know you have to tell the rabbi you want to convert 3 times before they will even, talk to you about it. So that's basically what Texas has adopted, right? You have to go 3 times, and then you could die in their ICU. Other than that, go home and die there. So this girl today would have been her 20th birthday. Her and her mom, she was 6 months pregnant, and she started to miscarry. And her and her mom drove over to the hospital, and they were begging for help because she was bleeding. There was blood all over her. Her legs were just covered in blood. Her blood pressure was tanking, and they sent her home with the diagnosis, I swear to God, you can't make this crap up, of strep throat. Truly. They sent her home with a diagnosis of strep throat, told her she'll be fine. And then she went back again with her mother to another hospital, and they diagnosed her as being septic, having sepsis, which is, a very fast-moving bacterial infection that will kill you. And they sent her home. She went back to the hospital the 3rd time with her mother, and her mother was screaming, "Help my daughter! Help her!" They put a band around her belly to censor, to see if the heartbeat was still, present. And they deduced that the heartbeat was not present at this time. And so they finally admitted her to ICU, where she died at 20. This is what they've wrought. This is what, and, if it goes, in 4 days, we won't, I don't know if we'll know. It depends. If it's a blowout, we'll know. Now I'm wondering if Florida really is in play, not just because of Amendment 4, not just because of, we have a 6-week abortion ban here, but maybe because after Hurricane Maria, you remember Hurricane Maria, I was going to say toilet paper. No, it was better than toilet paper. It was paper towels that Donald Trump offered after, and years later we found out he withheld billions of dollars in aid to Puerto Rico. And then there was an investigation. The Inspector General did an investigation about Homeland Security and why they denied, the release of these funds to Puerto Rico all these years later. And Donald Trump was still president when that began. And so he literally squished that investigation. So we never found out. Like why he did it or who was responsible for giving the order, the code red, not to deploy the aid to Puerto Rico. It's an amazing thing. So now that, this Bund rally, you can't call it a Nazi rally. They get very upset. They get like really, really. So this white supremacist, white Christian nationalist rally, a Bund rally, I don't know what to call. They spent the entire evening trashing trashing people that they consider unworthy, their lives are unworthy, unworthy of aid or help, even if they're American citizens, right? And so, the joke that everybody remembers is the Hinchcliffe joke. But honestly, it's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. I mean, they spent the entire night trashing everybody under the sun who might not vote for Donald Trump, who might disagree with Donald Trump, who might say Donald Trump is a deranged 78-year-old, mentally declined hate monger who doesn't deserve to be the president of the United States and should not be, according to everybody who ever worked with him, including his own vice president. Just saying. And he's a felon. Okay. Just saying. And they spent the whole night just literally threatening all the people that would say that. All the people. The media was the enemy of the people. There are enemies within. These are vile vermin. These are, sick people. These are garbage people. It's a garbagey place. Everything is garbage. America is a garbage can. We're being used by I don't know who's dumping I don't know what as a garbage can. It's so ugly. It's so horrendous. And yet you have the young people yet again who have no idea that any of this is going on. They have no clue. They just don't even know. If I asked, that guy yesterday, if I would have asked him, because he was a healthcare provider, okay? Yesterday when I went to the doctor, there was a medical assistant there, and I said to him, you have to vote. And he said, oh, I don't vote. I was like, what? Are you kidding? No, he doesn't vote. So, I mean, if I would have asked him, well, what do you think of RFK's health care plan? He wouldn't have known, A, who RFK is, or B, what the health care plan might entail, and that would be RFK taking over the Center for Disease Control, Health and Human Services, the Food and Drug Administration, the National Institutes of Health, where the research goes for cancer, where the research goes on for novel viruses. He wouldn't have known. He wouldn't have known. And that is a sin. That is a crime. I cannot get past it. But today, I hope he heard. I hope they all heard. I don't know if they heard. I don't know what they hear. I have no idea what the algorithm on TikTok does to, suppress them hearing. But today, Donald Trump, actually it was last night, he was sitting. It wasn't even a rally. It wasn't even like he was, riffing at a rally and just, threatened the life of, Liz Cheney and said she should be put in front of 9 barrels pointed at her face. Pointed at her face. Because he doesn't like her. Because she was head of the January 6th Select Committee and has endorsed Kamala Harris. So he doesn't like her, so therefore she's an enemy of the people and she needs to be executed. She needs to be killed, right? I don't know if they heard that. Today, they're literally parsing the death threat. They're parsing the death threat. This is base camp for bullcrap, okay? Parsing the death threat? Yeah, he didn't mean it.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randi, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
All right, everybody, it's Friday. We got 4 days until Election Day. 4 days. We got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday is Election Day. How many of us think that we will know who won the election on Tuesday night? Well, it depends. If you think that Florida is in play, and it could be, and here's why. Okay, after Hurricane Maria, the Puerto Rican island was decimated. It was decimated, and people had to leave. It was almost uninhabitable, okay? And they came here to Florida. Yes, they came here to Florida. Most Puerto Ricans that came here after Maria landed and settled in Orlando. Now, we have idiots out there that right now are going, are they here illegally? They're Americans, you douche. Okay? They're Americans. Puerto Rico is a commonwealth. It is part of the United States of America. They can move freely about the country. Okay, so that aside. So when they had to leave so that, they could either rebuild and then go home or not go home and stay, on the mainland, stay here, they actually settled in Orlando. Well, Orlando typically votes red. Orlando is typically a place where Ron DeSantis sues Disney and people cheer. Okay, the biggest source of income for Orlando is Walt Disney World. Okay, it's Disney. And they were actually thrilled that their idiot governor sued the largest commercial enterprise they've ever had in their midst, right? They were just thrilled about it. Anyway, that's where a lot of Puerto Ricans are. And they'll vote there. They will vote there. And I tell you, it's possible now. Between the 6-week abortion ban, which should be propelling women to the polls in droves, and, there's this whole discussion now about how some women are in not just abusive marriages. I mean, we understand that there's, there's a lot of spousal abuse in this here country, and it's very rarely a woman beating her husband, okay? It's almost always the other way. But we also have, men who are bullies toward their wives, men who are intimidating to their wives, men who declare that this is a Christian home and I am the head. Well, okay, then I am the neck and I can turn the head any way I want. See how that works, right? But so you got women who are literally secretly voting for Kamala Harris. And there's an actual video about that. There's an actual TV commercial about that. And it's just so creepy because if you look at it, the women are, wearing their MAGA stuff. They're wearing their studded, bedazzled hats, and they're wearing their, red, white, and blue outfits to go to the voting booth with their husbands. And their husbands will go, honey, did you vote the right way? And they're sort of like winking at each other as if they were hostages. It's creepy.
Your turn, honey.
In the one place in America where women still have a right to choose. You can vote any way you want. And no one will ever know.
Did you make the right choice?
Sure did, honey.
Remember, what happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Walls. Vote commentators responsible for the contents of this ad.
That's Julie Roberts voicing that ad, okay? And the two women are like looking at each other over the snack trays where we vote, and they're like, they almost look like they're hostages. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, they look like Chris Christie standing behind Donald Trump in 2016.
That first woman, as she heads to the booth and looks over her shoulder, the look said like, if he catches me, I'm dead.
I'm dead. How creepy is that? And you know what? It's actually happening. The freaks of nature on the other side, these unbelievably misogynist incels, these crazy ass white supremacists, these they're literally saying that women who don't vote the way their husbands are telling them to vote they need to be like thrown out in the street. All right, here's Mr. White nationalist Christian Charlie Kirk, okay, Turning Point USA festival of bullcrap, saying, these women, they're defying their hard-working husbands. Howard's sleeping right now, okay? I just.
She needs people to basically lie to their husbands, which they are promoting, by the way, which I find that entire advertising campaign so repulsive. It is so disastrous. It is just like
I'll show it in a minute.
It is the embodiment of the downfall of the American family. I think it's so gross. I think it's so just nauseating where this wife is wearing you'll show it, wearing the American hat. She's coming in with her sweet husband who probably works his tail off to make sure that she can go, and have a nice life and provides for the family. And then she lies to him saying, oh yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. And then she votes for Kamala Harris as her little secret in the voting booth. Kamala Harris and her team believe that there will be millions of women that undermine their husbands and do so in a way that it's not detectable in the polling.
Undermine their husbands as if we are not independent beings, as if we are not people, we're not persons, we're not fully agencied human women. We are the possessions. We are the prop. I don't even understand. And you know what? It hasn't been like that in my lifetime, okay? That's how long ago it was that women said, we're not the property of our husbands. We're independent people. We need to be able to own a home. We are not chattel. And I, as old as I am, I have never lived in a country. I've never lived in America where I wasn't allowed to buy a house. I never lived in a country where I wasn't allowed to have my own credit card. I never lived in a country where I wasn't allowed to do reproductive, medicine for me to save my own damn life. I had an ectopic pregnancy, you know that. Now I would have died, and I would have been, 20? Holy crap, man. This is just bizarro world. And they're sitting there, and Megyn Kelly, oh my God. Megyn Kelly, what does her husband do? I have no idea. She needs to eat something, though. She does. She's doing that all the time. She's skinny anyway. She looks like so freaking creepy these days. And she's hosting Charlie Kirk. Like, how far is she going to go to chase the dollar? You know what I'm saying? Like, how far is she going to go? Because she's afraid that if she's on the wrong side of history, I don't know, she'll be locked up or, put in front of a firing squad with Liz Cheney. Oh, he didn't mean that. He didn't mean that, everybody. We're parsing the death threat now. No, what he meant was she has no military experience, but she's a war hawk. Bone Spurs says what? Draft Dodger says what about her military experience? Just unbelievable what's going on with 4 days left. Oh, and did you see he went to New Mexico yesterday? New Mexico, 65,000 votes, picked Biden. 100,000 votes in New Mexico picked Hillary Clinton. That was the margin of victory for them in that state. He went there knowing he couldn't win and told them, I'm using you as Hispanic props.
Clear for takeoff. Randi Rhodes. This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
Thank you very much, New Mexico. What a good place. Thank you very much. Look, I'm only here for one reason. They all said, don't come. I said, why? You can't win New Mexico. I said, look, your votes are rigged. We can win New Mexico. We can win New Mexico. One of the biggest reasons we will win this state is that you have among the worst border problems of any state in America. And I am the only one that knows how to fix it. I already did fix it. 4 years ago, you didn't have a problem.
Oh, my God.
This is all you need to know. Kamala broke it, and I will fix it, and I'll fix it very quickly. And with your support, New Mexico, look, don't make me waste a whole damn half a day here, okay?
Don't make me waste a day here.
I came here, we can be nice to each other, or we can talk turkey. Let's talk turkey, okay?
Oh, my God.
First of all, Hispanics love Trump.
Oh, God.
So I'm here for one simple reason. I like you very much, and it's good for my credentials with the Hispanic or Latino community.
Oh, my God.
We're going to bring back the American dream for your children. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is too big to rig.
Oh, good God, man. Good God. I mean, he literally told the people of New Mexico that he was only there to use them as props. He needed it for his credentials. Hispanic people love Donald Trump. No, they don't. They're kind of like freaked out and hurt by you and hurt by that festival of hatred that you called a campaign that's almost over. Oh, my God. He actually, don't make me waste half a day here. What in the what in the F did that even mean? Don't make me waste a half a day here. I just, your elections are rigged. I mean, he opened with that. He said, oh, hi, New Mexico, your elections are rigged. They told me not to come, but I'm here because your elections are rigged. We could win here. We could win here. You can't win that. I don't know. I don't know what the hell, is, he's so comfortable lying. And the older he gets, the darker his lies become, the more carnage he envisions, the more hatred he spews. I mean, he is so bizarre at this point. And what's killing me is that almost 39% of the young voters in this country have no idea. No idea. This is all they know. They've only known his presidency and Joe Biden. And they, obviously don't know who Kamala Harris is. They really don't. It's unbelievable. It's so frightening in that weird way. But I will say, the seniors in Pennsylvania, whoever wins Pennsylvania, that's the winner. That's the winner. Unless you see a real major flip in a state that is, leaning or likely Trump, and you see something really strange happen, like Florida, right? And then you don't really need to count Pennsylvania. But Pennsylvania, the problem with Pennsylvania is that what did we find out today? Like millions and millions and millions of Pennsylvanians have already voted. They voted early. Well, and a lot of them voted by mail. The thing with Pennsylvania is their legislature doesn't allow for Pennsylvania to start counting absentee ballots or, mail-in ballots or early ballots until Tuesday. And so that's why it takes so damn long, okay, for a state like that. Now here, I just want you to be very, very, very aware, okay? And you need to pass it on, because what I'm telling you because you need to pass it on. What's going to happen in that vacuum, in that I don't even want to call it a quiet period, because there'll be so much chattering, and so Steve Kornacki's khakis are going to just be the close-up shot that we see for the next week, okay? That's what you're going to see. Steve Kornacki's back as he, tends to the smart screen. I don't say that to insult Steve Kornacki. He's brilliant. I'm saying that's where we're going to be at. You need to pass it on. They are, and by they, I mean the Trump psychos, they're going to declare victory. I promise you on Tuesday, they're going to declare victory. They're going to say they won. There won't even be an official result yet. There won't be anything, that was certified by secretaries of state or governors of states. They will just say that they won, and, whoever says it first sort of gets all of the, let's say, I don't know how to put it, low information voters, gets them to believe that it's done. And that's why you need to pass on what's going to happen. The idea that we're going to go through some things, don't let that pass. Pass it on. Tell people so that when it happens, they'll go, oh, I knew this was coming. Versus, oh, wow, did he win? It's a completely different reaction. It's a completely different posture to say, oh, he's lying again. Versus, hey, did he win? Is it over? Do you see what I'm saying? And they're going to declare victory, even though there hasn't even been an official count. That's where we're going to be on Wednesday. There's no doubt in my mind. Unless, Florida, with Ron DeSantis as the governor and a Republican legislature, flips to Kamala Harris because of the Hispanic vote here, because of the Latino vote here, because there's Puerto Ricans that are voting in massive numbers here this year. Brother David.
Roevember is finally here, sister.
I know, White Rabbit.
Word to everything you just said. At the Gen Z just now getting the grab 'em tape. In its weird way is huge, because up until next Tuesday, it's going to be influencers, just crazy making masses of information. It's the 76 days following next Tuesday that we have to be prepared for and have to gird ourselves for.
That's what I'm telling them. That's what I'm saying.
I know you
We
are.
have to
So I've
pass
been
it
saying all
on.
week.
People have to know what's coming. They have to know what's coming so that when it happens, it's not a surprise. The element of surprise is how crimes are accomplished, right? I mean, somebody who's going to come rob your house doesn't text you and say, "Listen, I'm on my way and I'm coming to rob you," right? No, it's the element of surprise, and that's why it cannot be a surprise.
And it also can't be as close as the polls and the MSM. Everybody on the oligarchy side is telling us it comes back to us, all of us,
always
voting and telling each other, always, because it is government of the people, by the people, for the people. As she who can turn the world on with her smile and freeze it with her side eye said so eloquently at the ellipse. Still more of us, Randy. The people are.
There are more of us, which is why they love to suppress the vote. That's the whole thing, right? But anyway, good luck to us. I'll talk to you next week.
Love you always.
You too. All right, Griffin in Oregon.
Randy?
Yes?
Dude, I've watched you since I was a kid on the radio. I heard your songs. My mom has watched you always, and I'm a disabled person. We need to vote for Kamala Harris because Trump will destroy America. I'm not kidding. This is a man who has gotten away with rape.
Yes. Well, he didn't get away with it, Griffin. He was actually found civilly liable for raping her. So he didn't really get away with it. But I get your point. Now, are you Gen, are you Gen Z?
I am not Gen Z. I am Gen out. I'm 34. I don't know all of the tags and
I think you're a millennial.
Yeah, I'm a millennial. And honestly, I agree with what you're saying with these kids getting their information from TikTok. And honestly, TikTok's going to be shut down. I feel like they're just going to start moving over to Twitch. I feel like Trump, he's lying. If Kamala Harris wins, he's going to try and get back in there. I have a job, and I can't do this. I go to work. I'm hard working. I don't even have a counselor because of some of the jokes who probably support this asshole that are like, oh, well, we'll just wrongly terminate you. And I'm like, that's not okay.
No, it's not okay. And what you just said was not okay. We had to dump you, my friend. But I appreciate the sentiment and the time that you spent calling me. I truly do. But yes, you cannot say that word on the TV or the radio or any of the places where you've watched me or heard me or seen me or experienced me. But anyway, I hear you. I get you.
Mary had a little man.
We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me. Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
Taylor Swift isn't the first successful woman Donald Trump has attacked. She's just the most recent.
I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired.
Trump has a problem with women. Yes. Disrespectful.
It must be a pretty picture you drop into.
Insulting.
Ivana does exactly as I tell her to do.
Even violence.
Ivana Trump once used the term rape to describe a sexual encounter with Trump.
It's ugly.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
It's cruel.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah.
And one thing he's proven is that he'll never change.
I could do this all day long.
You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years.
Would you want your son to treat women like Trump does?
And when you're a star, you can do anything. Grab him by the
Is this how you would want a man to treat your daughter?
Blood coming out of her wherever.
You know the answer. You know the truth. He says he hates Taylor.
I was not a Taylor Swift fan.
But the truth is, he hates all of us.
Yes, he hates all of us. That's for sure. And you know what? All of these incels, all these misogynists, all of these haters that are rallying around him. I don't know how they're all finding each other, but they hate us too. They hate everything about women. They're just, I don't know if it's jealousy because we can actually reproduce, we can actually bring life, and they can't. I don't know what it is with them. I'm not sure what it is with them, but the idea that he's now threatening, Liz Cheney with putting her in front of a firing squad. It's so he's so gone. He's so off the reservation. He is so nothing he says is decent. Nothing he says is about you. Everything he does, everything he thinks about, everything he says is about his revenge. It's about retribution. He says it out loud. And then he tells them, I am your retribution. So the best you could hope for if somebody wronged you is not, prevailing in a court of law and getting damages awarded to you for their bad behavior on your property or their bad behavior towards, whatever project you hired them to do. No, the best you can hope for is that Donald Trump gets even with his enemies and you get to watch. Is that where you are? Is that what you're saying? Is that the best you can hope for? Because that's really pretty sad. It's an amazing thing. I mean, we watched 1 million of our citizens die because the man can't, handle anything that doesn't have to do with, him, right? He botched COVID because he literally froze. He freaked out and just thought this could make me look bad. And now, anybody that was in his cabinet that was responsible, anybody that was talking to him, like Anthony Fauci, they faced death threats. They've literally, Anthony Fauci's like in his 80s. He's a virologist, and people threatened his life for Donald Trump. It's an amazing, sad groupthink. I don't know what to call it. Cult-like behavior. It's so much to do with, social media, though. I mean, the idea that people are just being, hounded and pounded with bad information, disinformation, lies, fake videos. Yesterday we didn't get to it, but there was a call. Some guy wanted to say that Tim Walz, what was it that they heard? That he beat his nanny or something like this? Brett?
I hadn't heard personally. That
you talked to the guy, and you said that he had heard that.
No, it wasn't Tim Walz. I'm sorry. It was Kamala's husband had been beating
Doug
his.
Emhoff?
Yeah, that's why I was thinking Tim Walz. Yeah, it was Emhoff, and he was really fired up. And and
okay, so that's Russian hocus pocus. All of this bad information, all this disinformation, all of this. They had a video where they had a woman in a wheelchair saying that Kamala Harris, when she was young, had a hit and run, and she's the woman that Kamala Harris hit, and that she's now paralyzed because of Kamala Harris. That was completely fake too. Okay, that was completely fake. And then there was one about Tim Walz with a guy in it who claimed some crazy thing about Tim Walz. That guy was a fake too. Now there's another one out there where there's a pair of black hands. I don't understand why they had to make the hands black, but there's a pair of black hands tearing up ballots. That's fake too. That's Russian. That was created in Russia, disseminated by Russia, paid for by Russia, and it's fake. It's absolutely phony. There's so much of that going on. And, it's creepy. But if we don't get serious about, policing the kinds of things that, don't get, like disclaimers attached to them saying this is not true, but you can watch it, but this is untrue, then this is the way it's going to go. It's going to go down a really bad road. We're at this moment where we either all work together or nothing goes right. Nothing gets done. Nothing. And I'm just like, trying to convince people that progress happens incrementally. It doesn't happen like, ooh, you wave the magic wand and everybody's okay. It doesn't happen like that. But the standard of living in the United States, believe it or not, is the best in the world. So even if you're not feeling that, you're living the best life possible for you, whatever it is that you're suffering through is better here than it would be suffering through it in Burundi, in Chad. I mean, it's just a fact. And the economy is very good. The economy yesterday in the Wall Street Journal, the most conservative, paper there is, they said that the American economy is the envy of the world. The envy of the world. And that doesn't mean that everybody in this country is, living large and can afford everything they ever wanted. That's not what it means. It means that we actually survived the downturn, the loss of jobs, the hemorrhaging of jobs, the COVID pandemic, the supply chain breakage, everything that happened to us. Joe Biden had to make better. And we're always in this position. We're always in this position where, we take 2 steps forward and then you hand off the keys and we take 9 steps back. So progress happens incrementally. And then if you change horses in midstream, you end up, going backwards. And then you want to blame the Democrat for having to clean up the mess again. It's nauseating. Linda in Arizona.
Hi, Randy.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
Randy, one thing that's been keeping me up at night, very nervous about it. I talk to I Facebook a lot with a lot of Trumpsters, and they call a lot of things hyperbole. Well, I don't think this is hyperbole. I wanted to bring up the fact that this is a very damaged man. He's unwell. He's lonely. He's just a mess. I think he's America's troll. He's been trolling us for years, and we're all so over it. But I've heard him say that he's thinking about bringing back a military draft. And that kind of clicked with me, and I thought, oh, sure he would. He'd love to threaten us all with something like that. And then later I hear him, he's always saying, if you elect Kamala, we're going to have World War III. There's going to be nuclear war. He's threatening us again. And I thought, this guy, he does project and confess all the time.
All the time.
He's the one that wanted a military parade. Remember that, Randy? He wanted a military parade for his inauguration.
Yeah, after he went to France, he saw their military parade and he wanted one. But then he told the generals, he told Milley and the others, don't put any wounded warriors there. It makes me look bad.
Exactly. Well, and he's also said that, remember when he wanted to nuke a hurricane? So he's very nuclear oriented.
And an idiot.
But he just, he's insatiable because he can't feel anything. He has no empathy. All he feels is our anger and our rage, and he loves to make us suffer. And that's when he feels something. He's just that pathological.
Yeah.
So
well, we're running out of time. I thought we had less time than we have. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hang up on you.
Clear for takeoff. Randi Rhodes.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power. The Randi Rhodes Show.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. When the guns are trained on her face.
Oh, my God.
They're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy.
I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country.
What?
The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. It should be very easily handled by if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
The man that was I don't know, you say roughed up. He was so obnoxious and so loud. He was screaming. Maybe he should have been roughed up, because it was absolutely disgusting what he was doing.
He was speaking to General Mark Milley when he asked that question of, can't you just shoot him in the legs or something? And I was, shocked by it. To hear this from the President of the United States saying that we shoot our fellow Americans in the streets of the nation's capital.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the horribly and unfairly treated January 6th hostages.
Oh, my God.
You see the spirit from the hostages, and that's what they are, as hostages. They've been treated terribly. Unbelievable patriots, and they were unbelievable patriots and are.
I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
And 2024 is the final battle. That's going to be the big one.
Oh, Jesus, God. I think that's where Linda was going, right? She was going to say that she's afraid that he will turn the military on his own citizens, on his own people. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I'm sorry I hung up on you, but I really did misjudge the music, the outro. I thought we had hit the post already, and so I apologize. But yes, you should actually be concerned with his enemy within crap, okay? While he's sitting there pretending that he's not a war hawk because he doesn't want to get Putin out of Ukraine, a war of aggression that Putin waged where he invaded his neighbor, because he's going to let Israel destroy the entire West Bank, Gaza Strip, both sides of that country in service to apartheid, right? Because Elon Musk was, raised in apartheid. This is their comfort zone, right? Same thing with Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel, his dad was, he raised him in apartheid South Africa. His dad, Peter Thiel's dad, was a uranium mine manager, okay? This is who they are. This is what they crave, what they need, they have to have. So while he's sitting there like he's a dove, he will not declare war on, Russia. He won't declare war on, anybody in this world at all under any circumstances, which is bullcrap, because if somebody attacked us, you would want somebody to give them a little, at least a proportional response. Just saying. But he is interested in turning the military on us. That's what this is about. That's what this talk is about. That's what Bannon is threatening. That's what the whole lot of them are threatening. They're literally threatening to go after their own American brothers, their own people, their own, anybody that is a citizen. It doesn't even matter. Citizenship is not the it's not the judgment that they're going to make. Oh, well, this is a citizen, so, no, it's going to be, what kind of citizen are you? Are you a Democratic citizen? Are you a citizen who supports Trump? Will you take a loyalty oath to Trump? Will you, did you vote for him? Are you, a Puerto Rican? Are you, I don't know, whatever it is, black, Jewish, Palestinian, anything that they deem undesirable, unacceptable, that's who they're going to wage war on. And you should be scared because he's telling it to you. And he always, always, always tells it to you. He shows you. And he said right there, I am your retribution. I am. And I tell you, he literally turned around after he said, I am your retribution. Okay. And then yesterday said Kamala Harris is running a hateful campaign based on retribution.
Kamala Harris is a low IQ individual. She's running a campaign of hate, anger, and retribution.
I mean, how much projection do you need for me to show you until you understand that everything he says about her is what he sees in himself? Everything that's bad about this campaign that he's waging, well, he said that in New Mexico. Well, he was using Hispanic people in New Mexico and Native Americans in New Mexico as props and told them so. Told them. Don't make me waste half a day here. I'm only here to improve my credentials with Hispanic Americans. That's why I'm here. I'm using you as freaking props. And then said she's running a campaign of hatred. She's running a campaign of retribution. It blows my mind how mentally insane he is. I don't know what to say. He's definitely a sociopath. I mean, he's not well. Let's put it that way. And it's not that he's treatable. He isn't. He's not treatable. The disorder that he has, it's called malignant narcissism, okay? And it gets worse with age. It gets worse and worse and worse. And he is becoming darker and darker and more vengeful than ever. He requires even more and more and more accolades and attention and sycophantic behavior around him. And it still won't satisfy him. She's right. Our friend in Arizona, Linda, she's absolutely right. There's no amount that could fill him up. There's no amount that could sate him. There's no amount that could, quell the desire to get more applause, to get more attention, to get more praise. There's not any amount that would satisfy it. The need is endless. He is a bottomless well. Danny in Canada.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, Randy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. I enjoy your work, love your work. I'm calling from Vancouver, Canada, and just wanted to let you know we're sending all our love and support up here.
Thank you.
I can't tell you how upsetting it is for me. I don't even live in your country, and my wife always says, honey, at the end of the day, it's their country, we live in another one, and I don't feel that way. But I just wanted to tell you, and there's a lot of us up here. And it reminds me, when Trump first came on the scene, Randy, you're Jewish, aren't you? Or do you have a Jewish background?
Yeah, I am.
So you know the Dayenu, right?
Right. It would be enough, yes.
Dayenu. When the Dayenu occurred was when he came out in 2015, and he said the rapists and criminals. That should have been the Dayenu.
It should have. It really, I know, I agree. And with Puerto Ricans, the throwing of the paper towels should have been Dayenu. It should have been a shanda, a sin.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randy, call 561-270-3844.
561-270-3844.
Absolute garbage. The most corrupt, horrible people. These are horrible people. These are sick people.
We're up against very bad, evil people. It's an evil force.
And the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country.
Oh, my
It's
God.
the people that surround her. They're scum. All the scum that we have to deal with that hate our country.
And you can't be president if you hate the American people. And there's a lot of hatred.
I mean, this is. Do you remember the debate? Do you remember this moment in the debate? I hope you remember this.
This is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing. And let's be clear. Where each person stands on the issue of what is important about respect for the rule of law and respect for law enforcement. The former vice president called for defunding federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents, get this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts.
I mean, the projection is so in your face. It's so upfront. It's so self-evident if you just look at it. The problem is, I don't know how many people have seen any of this. When I found out today that the Gen Z people, oh my God, they have to know that he trashed Taylor Swift, no? They have to know that Bad Bunny and J-Lo, they have to know that, what's his name? I don't even know who he is, something Jam, okay? They have to know that he has trashed Puerto Rico, that he's trashed, an amazing amount of people. They have to know. Oh God. I don't know what they know. I don't know what they've seen. I don't know what, TikTok shows them. I don't know how much, the algorithm says, oh, so we've profiled you and we realize that you're apathetic. And so we'll just show you things that make it okay to not give a damn about your country. We'll just show you other people not caring about their country and how that's totally a permissible, patriotic stand to take now during the most consequential election of my lifetime. Okay. I don't know how much they know. I really don't. I don't know how much they've seen. I'm pretty sure they never saw this debate. I'm pretty sure. Holy crap. I don't think they know who Liz Cheney is. And if I told them that Donald Trump, threatened her life and said, he wanted to see her in front of a firing squad with 9 barrels pointing at her face, and then he's trying to parse the death threat, they wouldn't know what I was talking about. I'm pretty sure. All right, Wayne in Washington.
Hey, hi, Randy.
Hi, Wayne.
Yeah, I have a real problem with this MAGA label that says we're going to make America great. I went back into history and looked at all the major events that turned out well for our country because of the self-sacrifice of our people. The ones that would put our country first and step up, volunteer, enlist, and ones that they knew that our country needed to be united because if we were divided, we'd fall.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a time of prosperity, a large middle class, a government that provided social networks to improve the quality of life for the needy. And so I started by looking at the American Revolution, and I thought, well, let's put Trump back at that time. What would his participation be? Well, first, when it came to the Declaration of Independence, he would oppose that declaration because he idolizes authoritarians,
yes,
like the King of England,
right?
Just as he does now for Putin of Russia.
Right.
He wouldn't sign the declaration like our 56 delegates. For example,
no, he put
John
a fake
Adams,
slate of delegates in there. He would,
yeah,
yeah.
And Ben Franklin, John Hancock. These are the men that wrote the Constitution of the United States to ensure freedom and liberty by creating a government by the people, for the people, and of the people. So when you look at the way he operates, and he idolizes these authoritarian people, leaders, his government would be more to support those. It would be one that would support the wealthy. He would deport the immigrants.
So here's the thing that you're trying to say.
rights.
Here's the thing that you're trying to say by reading me
Yeah.
all this stuff that you're reading to me.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is that he is anti-American. He doesn't believe in
There
the
you go.
American experiment. He doesn't believe in American independence. He didn't believe in it then. He wouldn't believe in it now. He believes in himself. Okay, he's the king.
Exactly.
Right.
There, you can't look at any part of our history that he would say that that's where we want to go back to, because he's
he keeps referring to 1798, and if everybody will remember, we had slavery in 1798. Okay,
yeah,
and so
yeah.
he keeps on referring to 1798 as being the heyday, the great time. That's what he wants, and the Supreme Court is no better. They think about 1683. This is where they want to go back to. Okay, I mean, it's very bizarre. This is not normal behavior. It's not normal behavior by a court to undo 50 years of precedent. It's not normal behavior by a candidate to threaten somebody of his supposedly own party with death. Okay, none of this is normal.
Bizarre. Yeah. So when you look at
know
a
what?
guy
It's not bizarre. It's unhealthy. It's un-American. Okay, and the reason why is because he's unwell. I don't know what his DSM is diagnosis would be, but my best guess is malignant narcissism. Okay.
Yeah, it's not good. But you look at the people that he surrounds himself with, like J.D. Vance. I call J.D. Vance part of the American Taliban.
Yeah.
And to me, how they want to suppress women, they don't realize that women have the power to save our country.
And they will.
Well, here's one way. It says, to me, is that the Congress, the Supreme Court, the state legislators, the president don't have the ultimate say as women do, because they have the power to say no. And if they organize and they take that approach and say, I'm sorry, I have a headache, until all this lunacy is over and Kamala Harris is voted president, you're going to get some attention. It would hit the major networks. It would be really something. And the last thing...
We're done.
Okay.
You have to hear the music. You hear it, right?
Yeah, I do hear the music.
Yeah, so don't make me
okay,
hang
I'm
up
done.
on you in mid-sentence. All right, listen, have a great weekend. I hope you voted by mail because you're in Washington. And
we have.
Yeah, good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, Randy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Fatality. This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
All righty. Michelle in Florida.
Hi, Randy. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Randy, I'm a big fan of yours. Love
How
you.
big are you?
The Bronx. From the Bronx. Love the Yankees. Too bad they lost this year.
Oh, I can't even see the screen because of my tears.
Oh, well, Randy, I have a quick question for you. I'm concerned about the House.
Okay.
I'm concerned about the House. Do you know whether or not we have a chance of winning the House this year?
Of course we do.
Okay, because I was hearing rumors that we might not be able to win it.
Well, we might not, but we might.
And if it's true, though, Hakeem Jeffries will get sworn in before January 6th, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So my question to you then is, will Trump lose? Yes?
Will Trump lose?
I'm sorry. I'm watching you on TV.
Oh.
No, my question to you is, if Mike Johnson is still the House, if Mike Johnson is still the Speaker, what happens then?
No, they passed the Electoral Count Reform Act, remember?
Okay.
And so it takes a majority of the House and a majority of the Senate to not certify an election now. It's not in the hands of one person. So
okay.
Yeah. The Supreme Court has to expedite hearing any of their objections. There's a whole new set of laws now that are in play because they updated the Electoral Count Act. The Vice President of the United States has no role to play anymore. So, there's that. But the House that would hear the objection to certification is going to be the new House. And could we win the new House? Yes, we're only one seat behind right now. So
okay. I wasn't sure because I heard in the Senate that the Senate's up for grabs, and I wasn't sure what the House was doing this year.
Well, we don't know. I mean, it's an election, and it's a wild card to call anything. I don't know if Trump's going to lose. I don't know if we'll take the House, and I don't know if we're going to take the Senate. I honestly don't. I can tell you right now that there are there's a ton of seats in the Senate that are need to be protected by Democrats. It's one of those years where the Democrats have to protect more seats than the Republicans do. And so, we're looking at Montana with, John Tester.
Sure.
Yeah, and we're looking at Sherrod Brown in Ohio being, on the ballot.
What's this guy in Nebraska, this independent guy from Nebraska?
Yeah.
Do you know about him?
Yeah, a little.
I don't know much about him. And is he going to side with the Democrats? Has he made his mind up yet? Do you know?
Made his mind up about what?
Because he's an independent.
About what, though? What did he make his mind up about? What are you asking?
Well, I'm asking if he gets put in the Senate, is he going to vote Republican or is he going to vote for Democrats?
I guess if he's independent, it depends on what the subject is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Randy, I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you do on the show. You're wonderful.
Thanks.
I've been a little bit nervous talking to you, so if I've been rambling, I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. Don't worry about it. Just breathe. We're fine. We're good.
You're wonderful. Just keep it up. I just love I watch you every day. So
thanks. I'm glad you're there. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
Dan Osborne, right? Is that his name?
Who, in Nebraska?
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess what she's asking is, since you looked him up, is he going to caucus with the Democrats or caucus with the Republicans? Does he say? I don't know.
I haven't seen anything definitive from what I've read so far.
Well, the Electoral Count Act is updated now, right? And so it's not just one member that can, stand up and say, I object to the certification of these electors, right? I object. Used to be that one House member could stand up and object, and then they would need one senator. Do you remember this? Is it ringing a bell, Michelle? So you just need one senator to agree with one House member, and the whole entire certification process is now, up for grabs. And it could actually go down to a negotiation, or it could actually come to a vote in the House where, and this is crazy, the delegations of each of the 50 states cast one vote apiece. So, for instance, if it's California, okay, there's more Democrats elected in the California delegation. And so the majority of the California delegation would vote for Kamala Harris. However, in a place where there's a Republican legislature, say, Idaho, okay, Republican delegation. I don't know how many House members you get in Idaho. Oh, let's use Wyoming because Wyoming is easy for me, right? There's only one House member from Wyoming, and it's a Republican. And so she would cast all of Wyoming's electoral votes for Donald Trump. That's what they updated. So now, so on the independent, Sean just said that the independent from Nebraska has said he will not caucus with either the Democrats or the Republicans. So it's going to be dependent on what the subject is, how he votes. Okay, so that I was right. But anyway, so now the threshold of not certifying and throwing this into the House for a vote by the states, right, is 1/5 of each House. 1/5 of the House, 1/5 of the Senate. So you're talking about 87 members of the House would have to object for it to end up being, thrown back to the House for the state delegations to cast one vote each, which is frightening because you look at places like Idaho, you look at places like Wyoming, you look at places like Montana, where there's there's the same number of senators, right? As California, that represents 44 million people. That's frightening. That's a scenario we don't want to see because we lose. We lose. And by we, I mean the country loses. We actually go the way of the tumbleweeds, meaning the tumbleweeds have more of a vote than 44 million Californians. The tumbleweeds get more of a say in who the next president is than, 10, 12 million people in New York. Do you know? It's so bizarre. There's less than 1 million people living in Wyoming. Less than 1 million. And they get to say as much as about who the next president is, should there be some sort of an objection that's joined by 87 members of the House. It's totally possible with this, this House. But it will be the new House. So there's another reason why you need to vote for Democrats straight down the party. Not only that, but if you want Kamala Harris to be able to do the things like Medicare covers AIDS, elder care at home, if you want her to be able to do the student loan relief or the $25,000 down payment tax credit, if that's how it comes to you as a tax credit, or the child tax credit gets lifted or whatever. All those things have to go through the legislature. All those things have to be voted on by the House and the Senate before they get to her desk, right? We all understand how a bill becomes a law. We're not that stupid, are we? No. Even Gen Z understands, oh, maybe they don't. Maybe they don't know what Schoolhouse Rock is. Oh, my God. Oh, I hope Charlemagne the God, can teach them. I hope Stone Joe Rogan knows. I don't know, because I guess that's what they listen to. Maybe Taylor Swift can put it to music and do Taylor Swift's version of Schoolhouse Rock. That would be okay. But anyway, I digress. You know, we need the House. We need the Senate. We really do. We need Tester to be reelected. We need Sherrod Brown to be reelected. You know, you'd be better off with an independent from Nebraska than you would, a Republican from the whatever. I mean, if you want a fighting chance at real change, if you want a fighting chance at real progress, if you want a fighting chance at an agenda that favors us over the corporate, favors us over the wealthy, favors us for, I mean, she's talking about raising no taxes at all for anybody. She'll keep the same promise Biden did, and Biden kept this promise too. So whenever you see a TV commercial where they say Joe Biden or Kamala Harris wants to raise taxes on the middle class, that's bull crap. That's a lie. That's a stone cold lie. She will not raise taxes on anybody making less than $400,000 a year. Joe Biden made that promise, and he kept that promise, okay? So she's talking about Donald Trump wants to lower the corporate tax rate, which was 28 when he came in. It's 21 now. He wants to take it down to 15. She, on the other hand, wants to take it from 21 where it is now and put it back to 28 so we could get some revenue and pay off these freaking bills that he ran up. And by doing that, she can also give us, 100 million of us, a middle-class tax break. Probably, the best thing that ever happened to us. And the child tax credit, which is the best thing that ever happened to kids in this country. But you have to give her a House and a Senate. So if you're voting this weekend, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as you go down ballot, as they say.